Hello, and this is the Gibson L-9S Ripper. Can this Ripper really rip it? Let me tell you, it can. The Ripper was manufactured from 1973 until 1982, manufactured from maple, having alder from 1975 to 1976, then back to maple wood in 1977. It had different finishes, such as the natural maple gloss or satin, the most common ones, then ebony and tobacco sunburst, which is actually my favorite from guitars and basses in general, as you can tell, right? You also had an option to have a fretless one, like this one over here. Here's a chart from flyguitars.com taken from Larry Maynard's book, Gibson Shipment Totals, so you can have an idea roughly what was being shipped at that time. Hardware consisted of the then brand new Ripper humbucking pickups, which we'll talk about in a second, a Gibson 3-point bridge that came with a chrome cover that you can see on this particular bass. It's got a Les Paul headstock, different to the Grabber and G3 cousins, and usually Shaler BM machines. It's got a scale length of 34.5 with 20 frets, and yeah, it's heavy and it's beautiful. This particular one is actually not heavy. This particular one is made of alder, the alder body, so it's honestly fairly light. So how did Gibson come up with this bass? Well, with the Gibson EBs being in the market for years now, and in an era that he had to compete with basses that need no further introduction, I'm looking at you, Fender. Gibson went really ballsy to come up with the Grabber, Ripper, and G3 basses and wanted innovation. And how did they do that? Well, they paired up with a legend named Bill Lawrence. He came up with these super humbucking pickups with a unique cue system electronics that we can talk more in a different video in depth. But in a nutshell, it gives a versatile system to alter the sound of a guitar and can be used for multiple functions and configuration options. You see, Bill Lawrence did not design this to have all of the knobs up and off you go, like the precision bass, for example, that you plug it in and you're good to go. You really have to explore it and mess with the settings to find your sweet spot. But the cool thing about this is that this becomes a very versatile bass. And let me tell you, if I were to take one bass to an island, this would be it. Alrighty, cool. So let's talk about the pickup for a bit. So here you have 4 different pickup configurations. Then you have your master control right here. The tone control, at 0, it delivers maximum bass, and at 10, it delivers maximum treble. So this is important to know because obviously this will affect the sound greatly. So let's start with pickup number 1, which would be both pickups in phase wired in series. This would should give us a bit of more bite. Cool, and now let's go to the funky one. So this one is both pickups out of phase, wired in series. So yeah, this is going to give you some very interesting tonalities, I guess. So. And that's pretty much it. Now, I just want to show you something. Obviously, I don't know. I personally like 3 and I like 2 as well, depending. So yeah, look, you can do so much with this bass, honestly. It's just crazy. Like, you change the pickup, you change a few knobs here, you're already getting some cool. Obviously, you can play without a pick. I haven't played a bass in in so long, so apologies for my rustness, especially with the finger picking. So forgive me, but just so you guys can have an idea. Now, do you like the Ripper and want one? Well, if we were in the 70s again, you could score a brand new one for 450 American dollars in the early mid 70s and roughly 600 bucks late 70s, which would be roughly $2,700 nowadays. But I have seen prices on these go crazy, so hard to say exactly how much you can score one for nowadays. If you want a bass that looks like the Ripper, but does not sound like the Ripper, I'm looking at you, Epiphone. Look, the Ripper is such a great bass. One of my favorites, if not my favorite. It's a very, very underrated bass. It's pretty much an underdog, right? I mean, you don't see these much anymore. Very hard to come across one of these, right? Obviously, we see a lot of Fenders out there in Music Man and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Now, if you have a Ripper, let me know what you have. The color, the ear, if you know which ear, depending on the serial number. Yeah, let me know if you like it. Let me know if you still play it, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So yeah, if you don't have one, go get it. Get it now. You're gonna love it. All right, so go out there and start ripping everyone's ears off. Okay, rock on, dudes.